Good morning, everyone. My name is Juan Collero, Chief Technology Officer of the Fireware Foundation and also coordinating the i4Trust project. And welcome everyone to this virtual networking event. We are organizing for helping DIHs, Digital Innovation Hubs, and SMEs to meet each other and this way start building successful consortiums to the second open call of the project. Let me share the screen to show you the agenda of today's meeting. Okay, I hope you will be seeing my screen. I will put this in presentation mode. I hope you can see that. Can someone confirm that the slide is?
Yes, we see.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. So, very briefly, the agenda of today: 5 minutes introduction that where we will simply set up the background about what this event is about and a bit the context with the second open call. That will be followed by a presentation, a session driven by Dennis Wendland, who will elaborate on practical hints, how you may describe your experiment. You know that as part of the application, you will have to fill the document that describes your experiment, and Dennis will bring you some practical hints in that regards. And then we will enter in what is more the core of this event, which is this networking, bringing each parties together and be able to connect. We will briefly expose what are going to be the guidelines we will follow. And we will split the networking part in two parts of around 45 minutes. One, which will be focused on short introductions by the participants. So you will be called to a stage to make a short pitch of what are your expectations, interests, and who are you looking for to speak. And then the following 45 minutes will be devoted for you to connect each other. And for that, we have arranged a social launch with a number of virtual tables you will be able to join to run your conversations. Finally, 5 minutes will be devoted to just wrap up and give a last reminders about the open call. So starting with the introduction, well, we are not going to go into details about what is i4Trust. There is quite extensive material you can find on the website. You can also check on YouTube videos introducing i4Trust. Also, all the trainers materials, technical materials are available not only on GitHub but also on YouTube, because all the training camps have been recorded so far. And you are expected to be already on track on understanding what we are trying to achieve, which is not other thing that bringing the opportunity for starting creating data spaces where organizations can share data, and based on that sharing of data, be able to develop quite innovative services. And as part of the i4Trust program, where we are not just bringing technology to you, but we are trying to set up first pioneer experiments. We have launched 2 open calls, and the first one was already closed, and 13 experiments already running. And with this second open call, we expect to fund another 19 experiments. And this comes nicely with about one million equity-free funding, which will be distributed among these 19 experiments, with funding that may range between 72,000 and 120,000. And it's not just going to be funding, but also a great support during the 9 months those experiments are going to be running, a mentoring from a technical perspective and also business perspective. What we are looking for is experiments that gravitate around the vision of how, by means of data sharing, we can create innovative services, and that means involving in the experiment several organizations that extract this value around the sharing of data. So we are expecting to have consortiums that are made up of at least 3 SMEs or slightly bigger companies, which together with at least one digital innovation hub, they are supposed to address a concrete challenge in some concrete domain, and by means of sharing data, be able to solve that challenge. We are not limiting which kind of domains or challenges you are going to design your experiment around, but there are a number of requirements you have to meet. First of all, you have, of course, to use the i4Trust framework we are proposing, and that means in terms of framework of technical components, the fact that the participants in those data spaces you are creating should be sharing digital twin data using fiber technologies, the AGSIL LD standards, and also standard data models. And second, and very important, you should be using the identity and access management framework that i4Trust brings, and is based on the iShare specifications. Experiments should be between the technology readiness levels 3 and 8. You have you may need to check what it means in Horizon Europe program, but there's extensive documentation about that. And there will be the need to document what kind of data you are exchanging and what is the business value that will be extracted out of this data sharing. Without any more preambles, I then give the floor to the next speaker, who is going to be Dennis Wendland. I hope, Dennis, you are there. I will be stopping sharing my screen so that you can start the session where you will explain about some details and some hints how applicants could fulfill their description of experiments. So, Dennis, whenever you're ready, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you. I hope you can see my screen. So, when you apply for the second open call, what you also need to provide is such description of your experiment, where you have to fill in such template here, which is also downloadable on the open call webpage. And what I want to go through now is how to fill in this template. This is about a fictitious experiment, so that's about non-existing companies, but this is just an example of how such application could look like and how such experiment could look like. So, and before going through this whole document, maybe let's introduce this experiment, this fictitious experiment. So what this is about, so we have a data space and there's several participants, and one of them is this Smart Shepherd company, which is an AI service provider for agriculture. And basically they're providing an AI service to predict animal activity based on the some parameters of animals like the temperature and coordinates and so on. They can predict the current activity of animals. And such AI service is offered on the marketplace within this data space. And what this AI service provider also needs for their prediction calculations is to also add current weather data for the farms where these animals reside, and this is provided by an additional data service provider in our data space called Real-Time Weather, which also offer their data service on this marketplace. And now, on the one hand, this AI service provider can acquire access to this data service, so to retrieve current weather data when they have to do their predictions. And then there might be several farmers, for instance, this Happy Cattle Company, which have some, for instance, some cows fitted with some IoT devices, and they're collecting the data about their animals, and now they want to get predictions about the current activity of these animals. So they also acquire access to this AI service so that they are able to invoke this AI service and retrieve data. So that's the basic idea of this example. And now let's go through this template, which you have to fill in. As I said, you can download this on the application page for the open call. In the first chapter, you will find some basic introductions, how to fill out this form, how to name it, about the format, fonts, sizes, and so on, and also where you have to upload it in the end in your application form. So now in the second chapter, it's the first one you have to fill in. You have to name the organizations which are part of your consortium, which will be one GIH that is involved, and then the different SMEs involved in your experiment, which has to be at least 3. Now, in the next chapter, this third chapter, you have to describe in general the challenge you address. So describing what problem are you going to solve, why can it be solved now effectively using data sharing in a data space, and so on. So this should be described here, minimum length, half page or maximum of 2 pages. So just giving an introduction, what are you going to solve and why, why can it be solved with the i4Trust framework. Then in the fourth chapter, you need to provide description of your different participants and their roles. So basically, when you've described your different SMEs, for instance, they will play some role within your experiment. So you need to provide a description of these different participants. Also to provide who is actual data providers or service providers, who are consumers, who are intermediaries, and so on. Also, who's playing the trust anchor role, and if you plan to publish your services on the marketplace, which services these are, who's providing this. So for our example, here would be now an explanation of the AI service provider, which is the Smart Shepherd company. Some description about them, what they offer, about their AI service, what these animal entities, for instance, are, which are used for the predictions, and so on. Also, he has already given a short diagram on how this AI service works, where you can see here that there's some data retrieved via the context broker, and there's some data pre-processing, there's some enrichment of the data from this other organization, which is providing this real-time weather data. And then there's this prediction calculation and an output again to the context broker, which is then made accessible by others. Then we have the service consumer, which would be the farmer happy cattle company in our experiment. There's also some description here. And finally, for this data service provider, we have in our experiment this real-time weather limited. Now the fifth chapter is where you should provide the architecture for your experiment. Of course, first now on a higher level, but at least you should get an idea on how your general architecture within your data space will look like. Also based on this role descriptions of your partners, showing, okay, who is here the service provider, who's consumer, what components do you plan to use for each of these environments of these different organizations? So where are, for instance, a context broker placed? Where are components for identity and access management placed? And so on. And
one question, Dennis, sorry to interrupt. There is someone in the audience that is asking whether it would be feasible to put the document in full screen mode or a little bit larger. I guess it's because it's a bit small. I don't know if these headers can be hidden somehow, or if there is a view. Full screen, yeah. And then perhaps increasing the.
But it doesn't help much, right? But
well, perhaps what you can do is escape the full screen and put the size of the phone a little bit bigger, and then compensates a bit. Yeah, and then full screen. Okay, it's something at least. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so that's what I basically already explained in the beginning. So this is how such architecture could look like. So we have a service provider, we have another service provider here, we have a service consumer, we have the marketplace, and we have also the trust anchor, the iShare satellite in our data space. But you even could already show on what are the actual data flows you will have. So in our example, the flow would be that now data coming from these animals, so from their IoT sensors, update entities on their own context broker within their environment of this pharma company. Now this context broker will notify, send a notification this way to the Smart Shepherd AI service, which would be an endpoint at a PEP proxy here, so a security component where the access management is handled. And since Happy Cattle acquired access to this whole service on the marketplace on some steps before, access would be granted, so the notification would be forwarded now to this context broker of this Smart Shepherd AI service provider, which then triggers the AI prediction calculation for the animal activity. This invokes then a retrieval of data at this additional data service provider for enriching the data with the latest weather measurements. This also goes through this PEP proxy, also handling here the access management, whether Smart Shepherd has acquired access to the service before. Data is returned, predictions are calculated, entities are updated in the context broker, and then again a notification is sent back to this PEP on the Happy Cattle side. So we have a complete flow described on how this AI service is used, and showing also the different components you plan to deploy and use in the different environments of your participants. Then in the next chapter, since what we exchange is digital twin data, context data from context brokers using the NGS ILD API. So what should be identified are the actual classes So the data models you plan to use in this case would be a class of type animal, for instance, having different attributes like a species, location, temperature, heart rate, and so on. Just all data that could come from these IoT sensors. Could be more description, a bit more about this class itself, or about these attributes, and then also to mark whether this class already exists in the smart data models. You can find the link here. Then again, also here the other class is this observed weather data, which in this case both are already part of the smart data model. There are some questions. For instance, if you plan to monetize your data or services, also on the marketplace, maybe you could already write here on which services and under what conditions. For instance, one could say, okay, this AI service of the Smart Shepherd company would be at a cost of 600 euro per month. This weather provider could have a different price, could be also pay-per-use models or single payments. So this should be answered here. Then is the question whether you plan to also use third-party data, so maybe open data which is published somewhere else. In this case, not, but if yes, you should also provide some information here. And yeah, if this data is available in the Smart Data Models Initiative, or if you plan to also provide this to the Smart Data Model Initiative. And then the latest chapter also should provide an outline, at least, of your planned budget for your experiment. Didn't provide an example here now, but there's a table in this template where you can fill in your requirements and expected amount you will need to fulfill your experiments. That's basically all you have to fill in this template. I think we might also upload this on our open call web page so that you can download it and get an idea how this should look like in the end. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dennis, for that explanation. What we will do now is I will explain how the networking part will go. And what we want to do is first we will invite different people to introduce themselves. So we ask everybody to do quite a short introduction, and then one of my colleagues will be sharing in the chat a Excel where we ask you to put your information so that we know with whom you want to meet. And I see there's a raised hand. I presume it's a question for Dennis, so I will hand the mic to Nadia.
So much. I'm not sure if you can hear me well.
Yes, we can hear you, Nadia.
Thank you so much. So my question for Dennis is, Dennis, could you please provide some more examples, please, for what is allowed to be part of the project? For example, for the sensors example, I have the sense that actually it is allowed to also have in the project not only the sharing data part, but also, how we collect this data, innovation in the how we collect this data, or how we manipulate it to be meaningful data, things like this. I'm asking because our company is specialized in artificial intelligence, and for example, data can be collected through computer vision or many other ways. That's why my question is, can the project involve such activities that are part, overall it will be part of the sharing data concept and revolution, but it's not so much about the sharing itself, but it helps this in, for example, collecting, manipulating with artificial intelligence and things like this. So could you please provide some more examples?
So in general, of course, there are not actual requirements on how you collect your data which you're going to share. So the requirement is actually just for the data sharing itself, that you have to use the i4Trust building blocks, which would be an exchange of data via the NGS ILD API of context data, and then also using the security framework provided by i4Trust. So I cannot provide now much examples, but in general, you are free on where you collect your data in the end.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis. I'll share my screen so that you can see the details on how we will be doing the networking. And you should now have it on full screen. So the idea is that we will spend around 45 minutes right now in a short introduction by each of the organizations that are present in the call, where we are asking everybody to share what organization they're representing, if you are an SME or a DIH, what kind of experiment you're interested to get involved into, and what will be your role, what are you looking for, what kind of organizations you're looking for to participate with you in the open call, and of course, who you wish to speak to. And then we will be capturing this information in the spreadsheet. So we will have one role per organization. We will also share this spreadsheet in the chat. So we ask that if you can, you put the information in yourself. And then we will have, if you wish to speak to other organizations, we ask that you annotate with whom you want to speak. People. So in the second part of the session, basically, we will have 45 more minutes so that we can have conversations in the social lounge. For those of you that might not be familiar with Ermit, how it works is we will be pausing this live session, and then you can go to the lounge and you will see the different tables. So on the Excel, you can see in which table you can find the appropriate people. And then we ask you to join that table, and then you can talk. And in case there's two tables or something, there's also a main chat where we can all talk to each other. So you can talk to organizers. And then right now for the introductions, what we'll do is we will invite everybody on the stage like we just did for the question, and we will just hand the mic and ask you to do the introduction. And I see that my colleague Angeles has shared the spreadsheet on the chat so that you have it. And what I'll do is I'll start with the people that are already on the Excel to invite them to introduce themselves. So I would like to invite Martina Kapp to the stage. If you can please raise your hand, because then we can find you and hand you the microphone much easier.
I'm not sure if she's on within the audience.
Okay. Then maybe do we have somebody of Technology Valley?
Hi, thank you so much, Jane. May I ask another question before that, please, if I may, for my introduction?
Is it about the application?
Yes, it's
itself?
more about the. Yes, it's also about the sharing of data. So after the project ends, when all the shared data will be available, who will have access to it?
Well, I would actually prefer we don't reply to this question right now, because I want to move further with the networking.
Okay.
However, I'll ask one of my colleagues to share the link to the help desk, because we have the open call help desk.
Okay.
So there we can address these sort of questions.
Thank you. So let me introduce myself. My name is Nadia, and I'm representing Technology Valley. We are specialized in artificial intelligence, and we have various proprietary products that are quite innovative in that field. So we are working with technologies such as natural language understanding, computer vision, and many other technologies in the field of artificial intelligence. And our usual goal is to automate business processes. What we would like to, what we are interested to develop for the i4Trust project is using computer vision. We would like to have, you can imagine it like a map, using satellite images and stream to identify in the city areas where exactly there are enough trees, where which areas are have enough green, let's say, which is healthy, that is needed for people, and where more green areas are needed, so that the government and the municipalities can take an action and actually take an action to have more green areas in order for people to live better and healthier. So we are looking for more SMEs as part of the consortium, and I think DIH is actually the digital center that is needed, right? Is that correct?
Yes, so you need one DIH and at least 3 SMEs.
Yes, so I'm looking for one DIH and more SMEs that are interested to participate in this project.
Super. Thank you, Nadia. I'll ask somebody of Innovation Company Bioinvestment Agro if they're present, if they can raise their hand. And if nobody of them is here, I would ask somebody of BGEO Open GSI. Welcome on the stage, Claudia.
Hello, welcome everyone. Good morning. I'm Claudia Ortiz. I'm the community manager of BGO. Our company is a small medium enterprise based in Barcelona and has more than 15 years of professional experience. We are focused on consulting, implementation, and training of open source solutions related to GIS. Our services also include those related to urban planning, the environmental management, and all kinds of engineering actions. Besides, we develop and implement GISwater, which is the technological solution that pivots on PostgreSQL, PostGIS, and QGIS for the management of hydraulic infrastructures for drinking water and sewage. And basically, for the i4Trust project, we still don't know exactly what we are looking for. I was asked for for my boss to participate in this session to know more or less how could we participate and maybe find companies and also a digital innovation hub that could match with our interests and just to know how we could fit together in this possibility. And for now, I think it's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Claudia. I mean, that's the purpose of today, for you to be able to meet potential partners for
Exactly.
the consortiums. So I hope you find that people today.
Okay, thank you.
And I would like to invite Ghana to the stage.
Yes, hello. Do you hear me? Yes?
Yes, we hear you.
Okay. So my name is Anna Boltinkova. I'm a deputy director of innovation company BioInvest Agra. Our company is present on Ukrainian market since 2004. We are specialized on biotechnologies and different innovative adaptive technologies for crop growing. So in the framework of i4Trust, we would like to propose for experiment our own project Agri-Footprint, which contributes to the development of adaptive to climate change technologies for growing crop products, greening of technological processes of food production, and improving product quality. So the project based on the following components. It's our methodology for assessing and monitoring the carbon footprint in crop production based on international best practice and guidelines. We have the prototype of agri-measure complex for obtaining the values of climatic indicators of crop production in the fields of customers, and the concept of agri-model tools for carbon equivalent calculations based on verified algorithm. Our pilot agro-footprint we realize with support of our Ukrainian NOSC UADIH, and we are looking for partners in consortium now to develop this project in the frame of i4Trust, and we would like to see the companies in our project which is active, engaged with key stakeholders across the value chain, and cover infrastructure hosting and cloud computer costs with high quality services to improve security and efficiency. We would like to cooperate together and to submit together in the frame of work of consortium. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gana. I would like to invite somebody of Duty Rec, which is a DIH, to raise their hand so that they can introduce themselves. And in case they're not present, Hohiro Digital. Okay, I don't see a hand raising up, so I'll just go to the next person. But if you're here and you just can't figure out where to raise a hand or something, just raise it later and I'll give you the word afterwards. So then the next organization is The Chain Never Stops. Oh, I see somebody off Hito. So I'll invite Clement on stage.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Basically, our company is a small medium enterprise, and what we are doing is we are providing micromobility for hospitality and for usually for private companies. So what we gather right now is data from the vehicles. So basically some heat maps, the locations where these vehicles are used the most, and we are looking for interested SMEs, especially from hospitality, that would find usage of this data interesting for them. So for us, it's very important to have a meaningful, business-oriented partners who would appreciate this type of data.
Super. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And then the next one is The Chain Never Stops, or Vlog 3P.
Okay. Hi, Stefano Negrini. I am founder of Relog3P. Relog3P is a young startup which is based in Italy and working in the logistic field. Actually, we have as a target to contribute to the sustainability of the logistic intended as freight moving at a global level end to end. So within this initiative, actually, we look to partners with either digital innovation hubs rather than other SMEs which are interested in contributing into this sustainable logistic ecosystem. So data spaces and data exchange tools for improving sustainability in global logistics. That's about it.
Perfect. Thank you, Stefano. And I see somebody of The Chain Never Stops. Annette, you're on the stage.
Hi, this is Annette Poys. I'm from The Chain Never Stops. We are providing unattended delivery services using smart boxes and smart lock doors. And we would be looking for SMEs, preferably in food and direct producers, as well as SME logistic service providers to further scale up. We did already a pilot with a local retailer here, and yeah, we're very excited to roll it out further and also to take advantage of the Europe-wide network we have here with i4Trust. That's it, I think. Thank you.
Super, gracias. Thank you, Annette. And of course, everybody can read all the information in the Excel as well. So then the next one is Digital Storm, which is a DIH, or NOSCUA, which is also a DIH. If either of you can raise your hands. And then we have somebody of Digital Storm.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you, Edin.
Excellent. Hi. We are newly formed DIH from like last 6 months. We are a consortium of the two companies. One is the QSS and the second one is the FabLab Bosnia and Herzegovina. FabLab is the research technology organization, very high-tech oriented, and the QSS is IT services provider. So we have a combination of our services in the field. We joined a bit late to the meeting, so I'm not sure how much you went through. My partners were there, so they informed me later. But the i4Trust is the first time that we are actually applying. We are quite interested in this concept. We do have our own standalone projects. We are interested in being either project leads or the part of the consortium. What we are currently developing is on the techie side, we do have the bioprinting laboratory, basically trying to displace the animals from the usage in the animal houses. So constructing from the variety of the 3D cell cultures using biofabrication to basically create organoids. So that's one of the projects that we're currently working on. We do a lot of on the cobot side, which is collaboration robots. And on the analytics side, from the IT side, we do have a lot of products in the field of the machine learning, AI, analytical platforms for the SMEs. We have our own IoT platform that are used by the banks, smart cities, urban living usually projects. And I'm looking forward to partner work with on the projects. Thank you.
Thank you, Edin. And I believe there was also somebody of the NOSCUA who had raised their hands, but they then removed it. So if you can raise your hands again, then we can invite you on the stage. Okay, I don't see a hand raising up, so I will go to Medipass or to Green Twin. Perfect. I'll go first to Green Twin and then I'll come back to Medipass. Please, Violeta, go ahead.
Hi, good morning, everyone. So my name is Violeta Damjanovic-Berendt, and I have two affiliations, but here I would like to actually present startup which is called Green Twin, and we are a very young startup. Actually, we are created at the beginning of this year, and the idea of the startup is actually to support sustainability development goals and to support circular economy. So our focus, our solution, that product that we are offering is actually a digital platform. And our priority is to actually create digital marketplace solution for secondary solar PV markets, which is at the moment very critical. So this is the first priority, and the second, also very important, would be to support circularity of metal materials market. So in principle, platform is designed to involve different stakeholders from public bodies, and for them we offering some dashboards and services for monitoring of environmental footprint indicators within the scope of their authority. But we also have PV and metal material buyers and offerers, and also PV experts and citizens. And in later phase, what we also want to include are creatives. So a bit inspired by new European Bauhaus idea that actually calls for including creatives, finding solution for reuse, for example, of materials, products, and creating some innovative solutions for citizens. The platform, so as a very young startup, we actually do not have real customers. We have just beta customers, and we plan a pre-launch from September this year onwards. Then we would actually start collecting our real data. But at the moment, what we're using is Earth observation data, which are public and available. And we have some services, for example, something that we're developing for government, public bodies. These are services that actually monitor the availability of regions for installation of huge PV fields. So I think Denis had something similar, because they're also using Earth observation or Copernicus data for monitoring that green areas. So we're actually monitoring for a different purpose, and this is related to PV and energy support. So I also shared a website, and I can see in that spreadsheet that there are some ideas for us to cooperate with Technology Valley. My question would be, because we do not have at the moment connections with DIH, my question would be if this i4Trust is actually more in favor of collaborating with some local DIHs, or it could be any from the Europe. So thanks.
Thank you, Violetta. About your question with the DIH, as you probably know, we're currently having our open call, and there's all different type of combinations. There are SMEs which are working with local DIHs, but there's also several that are working with international DIH. That's one of the great things, that it's a European project, that you can actually work with SMEs and DIHs of all the allowed countries, which is not only, it's the European countries and the other countries that are allowed, and you can read more about it in the guide for applicants.
Thank you. That's good.
And I'll invite Nico from Medipass to introduce themselves.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hi. Yes, we can hear you, Nico.
I'm Nick from Medipass. We're an early stage startup in the health space, and we aspire to help people battling infertility. So we provide the data-driven fertility journey. Our product is a doctor recommendation tool based on past cases data. So basically, we need data, and we want to gather data from doctors and clinics, but in the fertility space, and with our AI system to propose to new customers the best doctor for them, and to clinics to give feedback on what is the best course of action, and basically help them with their treatments to be based on data. For this project, we are looking for a DIH at this point. Thank you.
Thank you, Nico. I'll invite the next person, which is Eva.
Hello, do you hear me?
Yes, it's working now.
Oh, wow, great, thank you. So I'm from Hungary, and I would like to introduce our company. It's called Dutireg, and we are a non-profit company, and we have two main projects at the moment. The first project is DIH World. Maybe you heard about this project. It's all over Europe, 55 partners we have at the moment. And our theme is digital innovation. So we are looking for companies who works with digital innovation in any ways. So it doesn't matter, it comes from agriculture, or it's come from IT sector, or robotica, or anything. Just the digital innovation is the main theme. And our another project is EPICS project. The theme is smart cities. And in this project, we are looking for partners, SMEs, who would like to join to a cluster and would like to work with smart cities in Europe. We have 5 partners at the moment from 5 countries: Italy, Poland, Germany, Hungary, and Slovenia. And we are happy to have more partners who would like to work with this thing, with the smart city, and happy to join to the cluster. And that's all now.
Thank you, Eva. Well, let's hope you can find people today.
Yeah.
And now I'll invite Vladimir to introduce his organization. Yes.
Hello, I lead of NOSC UA Digital Innovation Hub. We registered 1 year ago, and our field is cloud infrastructure, artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, and blockchain. For i4Trust call, we now work on 2 experiments. First is active house data. It's digital twins of building with optimization of a set of energy efficient technology and some green environment for the building. Second experience that we work on is agro footprint data. Anna here said a few words about this project because it's our partner here. It's an assessment of carbon footprint of agricultural product in the process of growing, as well as a tool for sound adjustment of agro-technological, organizational, and management decisions. Here we have a consortium, international, we have SME from Spain, Italy, France, but we need also one more partner. So if you're interested, we could speak about this project. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The next people on the list is Apio and Inga Agofonova. Sorry. If you can raise your hands. And also I'm reaching the end of the list in the Excel. So if you haven't introduced yourself, but you wish to come on the stage, please raise your hand and then you can introduce yourself with everybody. I do see a couple of people that haven't introduced themselves. So if you can, I would invite you to raise your hand so that you can share why you're here and what you're looking for in this event. You're on stage.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Hello.
Hi, my name is Shailendra. I'm founder and CEO of Preflit. We reduces carbon footprint from energy assets owned by public and private entities. Our platform process data using IoT APIs, machine learning model, and with proactive that allows us to take proactive actions to reduce carbon footprint. We are already working on some smart city project with some public entities on energy efficiency project here in Portugal. We are SME, and we are looking for a DIH partner and also collaborators who would like to share data related to the public assets which really need to have an impact on the environment.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I see that Stefano was struggling, so I'm inviting him on stage. Stefano, you should be.
Okay. Do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good morning, everyone. So I'm Stefano De Rosa, company accountant of IPO. IPO is an Italian small and medium enterprise focused on energy and agri-food sector. And we develop some platform in the energy sector to monitoring energy flow and also to management photovoltaic park. And in the agri-food, we are working on the supply chain, agri-food supply chain, and through the system of the new technology and paradigms, such as blockchain, Internet of Things, cloud, and artificial intelligence. We are working on the supply chain to sharing the data and to obtain the traceability of for all the partners involved in the supply chain. We want to participate in the initiative because we want to search for a partner in the other small and medium enterprise, and also with the Digital Innovation Hub to coordinate this process for also partners that have a complementary solution with our core business. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Stefano. Then we have somebody of the Southeast Digital Innovation Hub.
Hello, everybody. My name is Petko Georgiev. I am the chairman of the board of the Southeast Digital Innovation Hub, based in the beautiful coastal city of Burgas in Bulgaria. It's a pleasure for me to be present here with all of you. Our Digital Innovation Hub is established since 2.5 already years ago. We are specialized in the artificial intelligence field, mobility, and maritime, since we are based on the coast, of course. We are already implementing 3 projects. I shared in the chat the link to our website where we have information about the projects we are executing now. Besides being a contact point for i4MS, we are also a contact point for the Enterprise Europe network. We are in a process of creating a digital blue accelerator network and a digital twin of the city of Burgas in the scope of the MetaCities project. We are willing to participate in the call, open for partnerships with SMEs, and I hope that we will collaborate together after this event. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Also, it's perhaps good to mention that DIHs are allowed to participate in multiple consortiums. So in case there are several projects in which you want to participate, that is possible. I wonder if there's any other application. We still have 1 or 2 minutes. Sorry, any other introduction? We still have 1 or 2 minutes. So we could have one more introduction before moving to the tables. So if you're missing, please raise your hand so that I can invite you on stage. Nadia is asking on the chat that she didn't see the last participant on the list. How can she talk to him? So if you are on the tables, you can find each other. You can also directly message him to agree to sit in a table. And with that, I think it's actually a good segue to explain the next part. So basically we have from now until 11:55 to do the networking. So that's for you to be able to talk to each other in the tables. You already registered your preferences, and we've already written. I'll actually share my screen so that you can see the Excel. Give me 1 second. here. So you can already see that we've assigned a few tables to some of the organizations. So for instance, Technology Valley will be on table 1, and we see that quite a few organizations want to talk to them, and also vice versa. And also, like here, Innovation Company will be on table 2, Vega Open will be on table 3. So if you want to talk to each other, please go to those tables. And also, if you are in a table yourself but want to talk to, for instance, another company, feel free to also jump to that table. We hope that it goes organically and that it works well. We're also around in case you have any questions. And I do see a raised hand, but I also see that my colleagues unmuted themselves. So I don't know if you guys want to jump in, please do so.
No, I just wanted to say that Sailendra Tomar wants to talk. And yeah, with regards to the tables, I think that we have 14 tables available. People from i4Trust will be also in some of these tables. And as I see that, you want to talk to each other, so I guess that you can move from one table to another one. We will be supporting and see how many people can join a given table.
Would you perhaps try to show or explain how to join a table, just in case? Because I understand people has to go to the launch, no?
Yeah, we need to pause the session, I think, to find the tables. Yeah.
Yes, unfortunately, we can't actually show it because we're in the session, so we don't see the lounge. But what we'll do is pause the session, and then all the participants should be able to go to the lounge, and then you will see the different tables. As Angeles mentioned, there are 13 tables, but if we see that the tables are too full and we need more, we will be creating more tables to make sure that there's space for everybody to talk. And we had the hand up, but Chandra put his hand down. I don't know if you have a question so that we can invite you on the stage. Yes, I see your hand.
No, my question was about how to go to these tables, so which I think you already answered. That what I wanted to know because, yeah, thank you.
Okay, perfect. You're very welcome. So then we will pause the session and we will see everybody in the lounge, and then we will be back at 11:55 to close.
Very productive networking session, and that you have found people with whom you can prepare an application for the open call. I would like to take a second to remind you of all the tools that we have, because we really are here to support you to put in a winning application. So there's the microsite, there's the guide for applicants. We also have the help desk where you can always ask questions. Also, we have in our landing page, there's an option for you to actually book a meeting directly with either people from iShare, which is me, or my colleague Rajiv, but also with people of Funding Box and Fireware. In case you have specific questions about how to do something, it is possible to just have a session with us so that we can help you in preparing your application. Further, we will very likely be organizing other events in support to your applications, probably a networking event and also a Q&A event. So I would like to invite you to follow us on social media so that you get all of this information. Yes, so actually we did confirm the event. It will be on the 23rd of August, and we will be providing you more information. I don't know, Angeles, if you want to add anything.
Sorry, I was actually adding our social media networks, and yeah, because sometimes maybe it's difficult to find us, but please, I think that you have our contacts. We are in the community, and we are in LinkedIn and Twitter also, but this maybe easier in LinkedIn. So yeah, we will keep in touch, and as soon as we have the registration ready for the next events, we will get back to you all, and more people, I hope. More colleagues. Thank you. I'm not sure if Juanjo wants to say something, because I see him on the stage.
No, that's perfectly fine. Thank you.
Perfect. Then I'll thank everybody for joining us today, and I'm sure we'll be in touch the next couple of weeks in preparation for your applications, and stay in touch. Thank you very much.